All right, everybody. I am Tofu, and we are back with our next episode where we cover the color green for the pre-release format and give you a guide to the viability of any given card in a pre-release format. So we will be starting off, as always, with our level 3s. We have Torikara Balmon. Incredibly difficult and long name. Your turn once per turn. When you play another green Digimon, this Digimon gains plus 2,000 DP for the turn. Actually, a really good egg. Like there's plenty of green stuff as you can see here. And almost all of these rookies play for 3, and the one that doesn't, there's a level 4 that plays for 3. So this can definitely be used to give a Digimon a boost that's not necessarily a green Digimon. So a really, really good egg. Next, we have our first level 3, which is Ebby Bergamon. On play, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a green Digimon, add it to your hand. Otherwise, place it at the bottom of your deck. Okay, this is okay. If you pull a lot of green cards and you know you're going to go green heavy, this is a card I would probably run. If not, bare minimum, it's a free Digivolve and Raising, so it's usable. Next, we have Bergamon, which is a 3 cost, 4,000 DP. I would, eh. It's a free Digivolve that can be a 4K threat. So not the worst, but definitely not the best, which is kind of where vanillas tend to fall anyway. Wormmon, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with Imperial Dramon and one Digimon in its name or free in its traits, and 1 Tamer card with Kenhichi Joji in its name from among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and it has the DNA at the end of your turn effect that we've seen a lot. This falls into the exact same pile as the Vmon that we covered in the blue episode. You set it aside, and then at the end, when you've opened all your packs and you're like, oh, I have a ton of Vmon and Imperial Dramon support, we're going to run this. Other than that, you set it off to the side because it's just a 3K or 3 cost 1K, which is absolutely doo-doo in this format, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of these effects unless you pull the right cards. Next up, we have Dracmon. By revealing up to 3 Tamer cards from your hand and placing them at the bottom of your deck in any order, draw 1, and then on deletion save, and then your turn while this Digimon has save in its text, it gets 2,000 DP. Avoid this card like the plague. This card is absolute doo-doo in a limited format. Like, 1, it costs 4 to hard play, and then reveal 3 Tamer cards, so you're assuming that you pulled enough Tamers to have 3 in your hand at the time you play this, just to draw an additional card. Um, you could Digicross it for 2, but again, like you're probably never gonna get the value out of this effect in a format like this. And it gives plus it's only 1K, so it's in range to be killed by everything. Your turn, this Digimon has save. There's better effects, inheritables that have to do with save. I would avoid this card at all costs. Next up, we have Yakimon. It's a blocker, 3 to play, 2 to Digivolve, 3K blocker. It's blocker. This is blocker has always and will continue to be one of the best mechanics in a limited format. Being able to stave off aggression, even if you lose this body, being able to just redirect an attack, and it being able to stop all these 1K and 2K chump swingers that are just trying to get chip damage after their on-play effects. This is going or trading with 3Ks even. So this is a card that you're definitely going to want to prioritize as at the level 4s. A blocker is so important when you're building decks like these. Next up, we have Stingmon. Your turn with this Digimon to gain a Digivolve into a blue Digimon card, gain 1 memory, and then while it has Imperial Dramon free in its traits, it gains piercing. So again, that goes in the pile of did I pull the Imperial Dramon stuff? If not, no. If I did pull it, run it. If I didn't, I'm not running it. Next up, we have Yasyamon. On play and when digivolving, which is always good. You may play 1 Iru Suzaki, Ren Tabario Ryoma Magomi from your hand without paying its memory cost. Cool, let you play Tamers for free. On deletion, save, and then you can play something else that has save in it underneath it. Then while the Digimon has save. Okay, so better than Dracmon for sure. And especially since it's the one when digivolving. And if you pull the Tamers, if you pull enough Tamers to get value out of it, sweet, because some of those Tamers do have okay effects. So not the worst, definitely not the best level 4 we've seen, but it's not bad. Like if you have to run it and you get the support, it's worth it. But like as a generic level 4, I'd probably try to avoid it. Next up, we have Poteamon. Six to play, one to Digivolve 6,000 DP. So between this and Yakimon so far as to what is the best level four in green for this limited format. Being a 6K beater, it is the biggest level four that we've covered so far. It is vanilla, but it Digivolves for one, so you can go into like you can do your on play or have like one of your generics and then play this guy and just be able to just like swing over, crack back on anything, which is awesome. So I would definitely be looking to use this card. Just be it just as and also it's a pretty cheap ladder into a level five as well that won't pass turn when you digivolve into your level four. So definitely a card to be looking for. We are now on to our level fives. We have Metalife Kawagamon. We always ignore these digivolve from X level if it contains save because it doesn't apply since in limited format you can digivolve on any color. It is a 3K, 3 Digivolve, 7K vanilla when it's on the field, but it has the inheritable of your turn once per turn. When this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle, gain one memory. Definitely could be a good effect. If you're swinging at stuff on the crackback, or like you get something with Blitz, you can definitely gain some memory back and potentially prevent yourself from passing turn or allowing you to choke your opponent at a lower memory. So it's a usable level 5. I think we've seen better ones so far, but it's definitely usable. Next, we'll be covering Jagamon. On deletion, you can play one Yakimon or Potemon from your hand with play two Yakimon or Potemon from your hand without paying their memory cost. If you pull a lot of Yakimon and Potemon, go for it. Other than that, I would probably avoid this card. Now we're on to level sixes. We have Grand Kawagamon, who just keeps coming back. He digivolves for three from a Dino Beamon. Okay. Uh, so if you have if you pull Dino Beamon, you can potentially digivolve this for one less. When digivolving, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. This Digimon may attack one of your opponent's Digimon. That's really good. And then your turn, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, gain one memory. So, if you digivolve this, even if you digivolve this for four, it's still going to digivolve for three because you'll gain a memory when it's suspended, and then it can swing over one of your opponent's Digimon. This is a really really good card. It also has free in its traits, so if you pull the Stingmon or some of the other stuff uh, leading up to that, you can give yourself piercing or jamming or some other cool effects. So this is a cool card, but bare minimum, it's a three to digivolve. Uh, a 3 to Digivolve that can swing over one of your opponent's Digimon regardless if you pass memory, and it's going to continue to gain memory whenever one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended on your turns via other effects. So this is definitely, especially at the rare slot, this is definitely a mega I would be looking to use because it's generically good and it has a high DP. Next up, we have our super rare Quartzmon. If you pull it, run it. Digivolves from 9. Digivolves for 9 from a level 5 if the card text contains save. We've seen plenty of level 5s whose card text contains save. So you could definitely do that. And then it digivolves from 3 different colored level 5s for 6. And it is a level 7 with 15k. When digivolving, suspend all Digimon except this Digimon and suspend all tamers. Then gain one memory for every two suspended Digimon and or tamers in play. All Digimon except this one, and all tamers can't unsuspend. And then when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or tamers. And then for every five suspended tamer, trash the top card. This card's insane. This card's insane in standard, and this card will absolutely destroy players. Like you could digivolve into this guy for 9 off of a level 5 and be perfectly fine, and then because you'll just continue to swing, suspend their dude, and then just you can swing over stuff. Like this card is absolutely this is probably this is the best card we've seen for a limited format out of the colors that we've checked so far. If you pull this card, you run it in whatever quantities that you pull it, and as soon as it hits the board, your opponent either has to have the nuts as far as how to remove it, or they lose. So definitely a card I would prioritize. Ren Tabari, this is the tamer that can be played off of our Yasimon, as well as the yellow tamer we covered in the last episode. By placing one of your Digimon with save in its card text on this tamer, you can give one of your Digimon plus 1000 DP, and then it has the generic hunter effect of being able to shove whenever one of your Digimon with save with Digivolve, you can suspend it and shove a Digimon into its sources to reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So if you have the Ren, you could potentially like shove one of the Digimon you've saved underneath Quartzmon to reduce the Digivolution cost. This is probably one of the weaker hunters. I would not run this just generically, like if you don't have any of the other stuff, or like, because like this is an occasional 2K DPT buff that you can't count on. So I would avoid this unless you pull like your whole archetype is able to be played off of the save mechanic. Spiking Strike. One of your opponent's Digimon gains on deletion, trash top card of your security stack until the end of your opponent's turn. Then, if you have blue Digimon in play, you may play one level 4 green Digimon card with 3 on its trace from your hand. If you pull a lot of green cards or the Imperial Digimon Sport, it's worth running. I mean, bare minimum, like being able to play this for like if you played this for 3, then Digivolved into the Grand Kawagamon, you could swing over a Digimon, check 3, or check swing into their Digimon, pass them 3 memory, and trash the top card of their security. So it's definitely it's a good card if you pull enough green stuff. Gypped Particle Cannon. It's a 10 cost. While you have a Tamer with Hunter in his traits, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. That's kind of cool. Main suspend all of your opponent's Tamers and Digimon. They don't suspend. This is okay. I would. It's a 10 cost to suspend a bunch of stuff, and they don't unsuspend, so it's Puppetmon, but as an option. So it's okay. I wouldn't necessarily be leaning on this. And if you have to play this, if you get enough value out of playing this for it to actually do something, you've probably already lost. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can rate that card. So to recap all of the green stuff that we just covered, uh, the really hard to pronounce egg is one of the best eggs we've seen. Generic rookie is always okay, uh, but the rookies in this in the green color are mediocre at best. The level 4s are okay. Yakimon being a blocker is insane. So far, it's the only blocker we've seen, so you definitely want to prioritize it. Stingmon, if you pull enough free and Imperial Dramon support. Yasimon is good if you pull enough of the Hunter support. Poteamon is good generically, being a 1 to Digivolve, so it's a nice stepping stone into your level 5s. Metal Life Kawagamon is really good if you pull a really good level 6, being that every time you swing over something, you gain a memory. So, like if you pull a Grand Kawagamon or a Quartzmon, and it's got this in its sources, you're going to be sitting pretty. Jagamon is only if you pull a bunch of Poteamon and yeah, a Poteamon or Yakimons. That's pretty much it. Grand Kawag, the level 6 in this set is really really good. It's generic good. You can do like this card can do so much for you. Quartzmon will single-handedly win you games. I mean, you could honestly like you could probably, I mean, if you could get away with it, you could probably hard play this card. And if your opponent can't remove it, you're probably still going to win the game. That's how good this card is. So this is probably the best card we've covered so far generically. And if you see it, set it off to the side. We are running this card 100%. The Tamer is meh. Run it if you have enough to fill your entire 40 card deck with your archetype. Spiking Strike is good if you pull a lot of green support and have really good green level 6s and 7s. And Gypped Particle Cannon you probably want to avoid because it's not going to give you a ton of value. And by the time you can get value out of it, passing your opponent 10 memory is probably going to lose you the game anyway. That has been it for the color green. Join us for the next episode when we cover the color purple. I have been Tofu, and this has been your pre-release guide. Have a good one.